Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Ankur, and in today's video, we are diving deep into data fetching inside client component in Next.js 15. So far, you might have been keen how data is usually fetched using server component in the new app router architecture. But what if you want to fetch data on the client side? Like for interactive UI update, drop-down, user-specific content, and on your user action like button clicks. In this video, we will walk you through when and why to use client component for data fetching, the best practices to follow, and I will show you an hand-on example using useEffect and fetch and some real-time update. If you are building a dynamic user-driven React app with Next.js 15, this is going to be super useful for you. So make sure to stick together till the end. Let's get started. So this is our file folder structure which we have created in the last video, and in this today I will show you how we can fetch data inside the client component. But before this, we want to show you that we are using the API for which is for this. So we are using the JSON placeholder. So let's me give you a small update on that. So here you can see that we have a JSON placeholder which is a free fake REST API, and we are going to use this in our example today in this video. So here you can see, if you have visit JSONPlaceholder.typecode.com, here in the drop here when you scroll downward to this, you can find number of resources to it. So here you can see inside under the resource title, JSON placeholder come with a set of fixed common resources like post, comment, album, photos, to-dos, and users. But in our in an example in which we are going to fetch data inside the component, we are just using the user 10 point, and they are providing us the 10 users over here. So when we click over here, so you can see that they provide the list of 10 users, and in this you can find that we have number of fields inside that, but we are going to fetch from selected field here. So here you can see we can fetch field name, username, email, and phone number. So these fields are going to be used in our video example. So let's move on to the Visual Studio Code, and let's start building this example of fetching data inside the client component. So here you can see that we have already reached to our folder structure. So for this entire app, we can create a new folder with the name. With the name, we can create a user client. Okay. So we can create a folder inside the app word users dash client, and inside that we can create a new page.tsx over here. So I'm just taking the folder name as user client because we are fetching the data inside the client component. So I'm using this. So before starting this, we are just making it in a TypeScript. So first of all, we need to create a type of user. Okay, so type as users, and in this we have it is object will have different field which we are going to display in our example. So for this, we are using the ID as a number. After that, we are taking the name as a string, and we are taking the username also, which is your type is string. Then we going to take an email, which is also type of a string, and after that, in the last it is phone string, and in the last it is phone, which is of type string. So this is our user type which we had created for this example. So now let's create a function for this. Export default functions. I will name it as user client. Name it as user client. User client. So in this, we are going so as you can see that we have already created the type user. So in this, in order to display data to the UI part of the client component, we need to maintain the state within a component. So let's create a state for that. Before this, we need to import that state. So first of all, we can create a variable which we required in this example. So let's create constant. Well, we can create users. We can take set users is equal to user state. You can click. So you can see user state already imported on top of your page. After that, it is of type user, which we have already created on top of the user default function. It is of type users array, and we going to use as it is an empty array. Okay, it is not users, it is users. It is only user. Okay, so here you can see that we give an empty array. After that, we can take another that error loading state. We can maintain the loading state. We can, if we want to display some other UI, so we can take it state as false to it. let me take it at true, so that if it will display the message. Then we take another state for the error handling. So we can take the state set error. If we paste some error, we can display that over here. Use state to an empty error. Okay. Now this is a function in which we maintain 3 state variable using users, loading, and error. Now let's create a useEffect hook, in which we are going to hit a JSON placeholder appear with the of the user. So for that we need to create a useEffect inside that. So for that we can create a useEffect where it is a callback function and it has an empty array. After that, inside which we can create a async function with the name fetch users, and inside the fetch users we are calling the API with the help of try catch to it. So I can type try. We can enter try catch. So inside the try statement we can write like constant response to fetch API. We want use, as we are using the async function, so we need to use the await method to it. So I can write await fetch. I can write await fetch, and in this we can pass a user placeholder API URL to it for fetching users. Copy it. Place it over here. Now this will fetch our users from the API call from JSONPlaceholder.typecode.com/user. Now what happens? Now we want to type if response dot okay, not okay. Then we are going to throw a new error. Pending a message failed to fetch errors. Error in fetching users. User detail. Okay. We can save it. After that, if we didn't get an error, then we can give a response.json which convert data to in a JSON format. After that, we can check users with the help of fetch users. Inside that, we can pass data to it. Okay. Constant data is equal to response. We need to use the await method to it. Okay. Because it return the promised word. After that, we can set that data to a user. Okay. Now we can handle the error. If we found error, then we can type if test condition to it. If error instance of error. If error instance of error, then what we going to do in this example? So we are just set error as message. Set error and display a message with the name error.message. Okay. After that, in the else statement, what we are going to display in the else statement, we are setting the error. Set error is equal to an unknown error occurred. We give a message as an unknown error occurred. Okay. This now after this, in this set error, we are also typing the finally. Finally, we can check set loading is equal to false. Okay. Now after that we then close, and after that, inside that we can make a call to the fetch users, because you have already created the function but you have never called it. So for this you need to you need to call that function with the help of fetch users in the end before closing the fetch users useEffect. Okay. Now after that, if we can also see the UI which we have added for the loading and error. So for this, if we can if loading, then what we are going to return, we can return a div loaded. We give a small tag to it, and if error would be there, we can pass a condition for the both the things, error loading and the error. We can return error. Okay. We can close it after that. So here all the things has been completed. Now we are going to display the user data on the UI part. So how we can do that? We can give a return statement to it, and after that we can create a UL list to it. Can give UL list to it. And inside that we can give a tail, we have a variable chaser, so we can pass a space, yes, space that's wide as 4, okay, and padding of 16 pixel. After that we can give a ally to it. We can give a ally to it and also the key to it. So for this we have to make a loop of the users which we have data set for it. So we can use users.map, and in cardless we can pass a user. We can display this as thing. Now we can copy whole the thing to it and cut from here and just paste it over here. So now inside this we have UI, and inside key which will uniquely identify the element we can pass here as user.id. Okay, inside ally what we are going to do? So inside ally we can create a number of divs, like for the name. So we can give a div is equal to name. So we can give a class name, or can keep a font bold. Inside that we can give a user.name. Okay. So after that we can also create a new div to it, and in this we can give a class name to a text asm, and in that div we can give another div to it, taking a username, and inside username we can display user.username. Then we have another div for the email. We can get email, and another we can give pass a user.email to it. Now we have in the last we have the phone number. So these are the things which we are going to display in this. So we are just try to fetching the data with the same property which we are going to display in this particular example. So here we have completely our div. So one more thing that we can also add the ally with the class name. So I can give a padding of 16 pixel to it. Background should be a white. Shadow should be of medium, then rounded LG. After that I can give text gray to 7 Indra. Alright, close to it. Now this example has been completed. So let's run our server and let's see on the browser what we are going to see on the browser. So let's run our server and run dev. So wait for the server to start. So here they are providing the URL to localhost 3000. So let's move on to the browser and visit localhost 3000 and use the client to it. Okay. I can type localhost 3000. Wait for the server to start properly. After that, we can visit user.js client and we can see that what type of data we are keen on the browser after implementing that API to our client component. One more thing I am going to mention this particular, that this is we need to use the use client. You need the use client to it, because otherwise these state variables such as useEffect or useState variable belong to a client component. So you need to make that component as a use client by adding use client on top of that, so that your component can be changed from server component to the client component. Otherwise it will give you an error, all this. Okay, now let's move on to the browser. Working fine. Now let's visit user's client, user-client fruit. So here you can see that we are going to let me make a background to be some other color so that we can easily properly see. So we can make it at black or gray. I can make it at, we can properly see to it now. So here this is so it could be of gray. Let me take 500. Okay. Now save it and now again go to the browser. We need to set on separate color, BG gray of light. Hold on. Okay, now we can keep it as BG gray 400. You can see that this loading is a text which you are parsing here. This is the loading text which you see over here. Now, and the data content will be seen here. Like here you can see that if you go to the JSONPlaceholder, the first name which you would like to display was the Leningram, and in the your API call also your client cover also Leningram. Okay, username that, and here also username but an email could be an inter@apple.biz. So that would be better. So this is how all the things will be fetched in the client component. So one more thing I just want to show you that if we don't want to display that use client on top of that. So for example, if just comment that code now see on the browser, what error we are going to see on the browser. You can see that you are importing a component that need useEffect. This React hook only works in the client component. To fix, mark the file or paint with the use client active. So that's why if you are not adding use client directly on top of your page, then you are not going to implement that data fetching inside the client component. So using data fetching inside your client component, you need to add your use client directly on top of the way. Then only you are able to use that particular effect, because these hooks were from the client component type. So now if I already uncomment this particular code, now if you go to the browser, you can see all the data will be fetching easily without any issue. So this is how you can see in that today video how the data is sent inside the client component in Next.js 15. So alright, so that was the complete walkthrough of how to fetch data inside a client component in Next.js 15 using the fetch API along with the useEffect. We use the feed API for JSONPlaceholder.pypcode.com/user to formulate real-world user data fetching. And you saw how easy to display the data directly in your React UI. Just to recap, we created a client component using useClient, used the useEffect hook to make the API call, store the fetch data in state using useState, rendered the user list conditionally once the data was loaded. This is perfect for scenario where you won't need client-side interactivity such as dashboard, forms, dropdown, or any UI that depend on your user-triggered update. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out upcoming video on Next.js 15 and modern React development. Drop your question in the comment below and let me know what you want to explore next. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.